This decision will have Rangers fans absolutely buzzing as we finally have some insight into one thing in particular that all fans have been wondering all summer long. And now that we finally have the answer, fans are fired up. Everyone's excited for the season to start, and things will be different this season with this New York Rangers team because this one change will have major implications on how the team plays. We're going to break down exactly what that is in this episode of Rangers Digest. But before we do that, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button, as 77% of you are not subscribed to the channel. So if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening with the New York Rangers, go down below, hit that free subscribe button because this is the place to be for all your daily New York Rangers content. It's very exciting as the season is right around the corner. And as always, there's a lot of questions with the New York Rangers and what's happening with specific pieces of the team and specific roles. And the NHL posted an article about three things that are, three questions facing the New York Rangers heading into this new season. And again, the guys are reporting for training camp very soon at this point, just a couple weeks away. And before we know it, we're going to get preseason games. We're going to have an idea of who's going to make the team and who's not going to make the team. And I'm more interested about that stuff, who's going down to Hartford, because I feel like that's going to be a very interesting storyline. But there's one huge storyline we've been talking about on the channel, and Brett broke this down, but I have some thoughts on this because myself, and I feel like a lot of people, are absolutely buzzing about this, very happy, ecstatic, and that is that Mike Sullivan is not tone deaf. He can see what we see, and he's going to make the necessary decisions that need to be made, and I'm very happy about that. And you can see this from Bald Panarin. Mika Zibanejad will likely begin the season at right wing. And also, before we get any further with this, if you go on Puckpedia now, Mika Zibanejad no longer at third line center. He's on second line right wing, and we've been joking about that all off season. We've been bringing it up. It's not our lines, it was Puckpedia's, and then I was making my own lines. Well, now he's at right wing, which is where he probably should be this season, and that is according to Mike Sullivan himself, who was interviewed in this as well, and we'll get into some more quotes. Seems like Mika has expressed pretty clearly that he's a JT Miller fan and wants to keep playing with him. We've been saying it all summer. Myself, Brett's been saying it. JT Miller, Mika Zibanejad, they have to play together. And I'm going to get a JT Miller jersey to go right here, and he's going to be right beside Mika Zibanejad, which is exactly where they should be, together on the ice. So I'm very excited for that. Mika Zibanejad had his best stretch of the season last year from February 1st, when JT Miller was acquired, to March 1st. That month span, he's one of the best players in the entire National Hockey League, when he had the burden of playing center taken off his shoulders and he was able to play the wing and put up points like we know that he can. If you take a look at his stats from last season, again, nothing crazy, nothing that jumps off the page that you accept, especially for a guy that's making as much money as he is. Of course, 62 points in 82 games, not great for that dollar amount. But if you take into consideration his last few months of the season, if he puts together a season, a full season like that, he'll be totally fine, because at one point the last season he had 20 points, I think, in 45 games or something like that. It was not looking good. So, he finishes with 82 games played all 82 games and 62 points. He also said he was going through one of the worst stretches mentally of his entire career, if not the worst stretch of his entire career early in the season. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do next season. So obviously he wants to play with JT Miller. JT Miller's a great player. He's a great center, one of the best in the league still. He's going to put up 100 points, if not more, next season. I do truly believe that, especially with Mika on his right wing 5-on-5, let alone the power play. I'll get into the power play in a second. You can see there, this is from Mike Sullivan. As part of the conversation, one of the things he expressed to me is, even though he lined up on the wing on the ozone faceoffs, he felt they were interchangeable in the sense that he could read off of each other. Then, of course, JT Miller and Mika Zibanejad, they both have a comfort level playing down low in the defensive zone. They both have a comfort level in the faceoff circle, with one being a righty and one being a lefty. I think that's going to be very interesting, and an interesting dynamic with this, that Mika Zibanejad isn't going to play center in play, because I don't think he can anymore. But they have an advantage here where Mika can take faceoffs and can win faceoffs, and so can JT Miller. So depending on what side the faceoff's on, which I know the rules have changed a little bit now, you can, in certain circumstances, pick which side you want the faceoff on in the offensive zone. He can come in and take a faceoff if he needs to on the right or the left. I think that's actually something that's going to be very good for that line, and it's going to be an interesting season in that way. So they can continue to build chemistry. I keep saying on the channel that we saw last year, JT Miller was yelling at Mika Zibanejad on the bench. There was a clip I had in one of my videos. I mean, it exists. It happened. I don't think it was anything malicious. He was just telling Mika that, hey, listen, your play's got to come up. Like, let's get going here. And you want that out of your potential new captain. And I do wonder if they end up naming him Captain JT Miller, that is. So Sullivan went on to say those are 3 pretty high quality centermen. I think it's going to play itself out, but certainly the conversation I've had with Mika to this point, I would envision us exploring keeping Mika with JT. So they're going to try it. If it doesn't work out, they'll move away from it, but at least they're going to start running it. And I think that's very exciting. So of course, Vincent Trocheck there as well. We know that. Now, I understand fans pointing this out, and this is from Bald Panarin as well, that it leaves a hole at the center position. It really doesn't. It really doesn't to me. You have Juuso Parson and you re-signed him for this exact reason. He's going to play third line center. I think that's the plan at this point. And if it's not him, you have a couple other guys that can step in and play that as well, whether it's via Hartford, whether it's Sam Carrick, although I wouldn't move him from the fourth line. I like the fourth line the way it is. It's solidified at this point. And you also obviously have some identity with that fourth line now, which is very fun. So wouldn't move away from that. So I have to agree that I understand why a lot of people feel this way, but I have to agree with Bald Panarin that it's not a big deal moving him away, and it's actually going to be better for this team. Now, last thing I wanted to cover here is some comments from Mike Sullivan again on Will Cuylle's role with the team under Mike Sullivan heading into this season, because of course he took on a bigger role. Will Cuylle, this is last year. He had a career year last year. We'll get into that in a second too. But where does he envision this player? Well, he envisions him taking over Chris Kreider's production, which is pretty crazy to say, considering the last couple of years and his usage under, the last regime, the last head coach as well. But I believe that Will Cuylle can get to that point. I think that is what Will Cuylle's ceiling is. Does he ever reach that? We don't know. But I do have, very high hopes for Will Cuylle. So high that I bought his jersey and it's hanging to my left behind me. So I think he's going to have a great season. You can see here that he thinks that Will Cuylle will play a prominent role within this roster. I've watched a fair amount of games since I've taken this job to try and familiarize myself with some of the players that I maybe haven't been familiar with in the past, and Will Cuylle was one of them. His power game, his ability to go to the net, his physicality. We know all of these things as Rangers fans, and Mike Sullivan is finding that out. So I'm very excited that he envisions him in a bigger role, and he's actually not going to shy away from playing him on maybe the top line, one of the top 2 lines, something like that. He's too good to be playing in the bottom 6. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he slots in and how he uses him on special teams as well. I'm very interested to see that. You can see this, the updated lines from Puckpedia. I think it's actually going to look something almost exactly like this to start the season. Like, if I was to put money down, if I was a betting man, this is exactly what the forward group would look like to me on opening night. This is what I would start. Exactly this. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. We want to hear what you have to say in the comments about all of this, what Mike Sullivan's planning to do with the team. I feel like this has fans absolutely buzzing, as the master plan heading into next season has seemingly finally been revealed. A quick reminder again that 77% of you have not hit that subscribe button. So if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything that's going on with the New York Rangers. Let me know how you feel in the comments, and Brett and I will see you for another video tomorrow.